Welcome to Counterpoint on the piano. I'm Noah, and today our keyword is patterns. We're going to learn some very basic moves on the piano, and then we're going to shift them around and repeat them in order to make some really cohesive music. It's pretty simple, and all it takes is a little bit of hands-on exploration. We're going to start by playing the scale, first in the left hand and then in the right hand, both going up and down, and use just our 3s and our 6s to make some very interesting patterns that can run up and down the keyboard, and you can let your imagination take them wherever you want. After that, we're going to look at perhaps the most popular harmonic progression in all of music, the falling fifth pattern. Generally, the falling fifth falls and goes down and keeps going lower, but we'll find another way to sort of take the same idea and move it upwards. If you can do it one way, we always try to do it the other way, and then we have multiple ways to do things. In music, there are often many repetitive patterns that keep a piece feeling like it's together. So let's see what we can do with what we know so far in Counterpoint to repeat a pattern. Let's take our scale in our left hand going down, and above it let's use our very familiar 3s and 6s, but let's go 3, 6, and then for the next note of the scale do 6, 3. So going 3, 6, 6, 3, 3, 6, 6, 3, and we can just end on the octave. So that's our scaffolding for what we can do to sort of connect the dots and make it more fluid. So we can go from the 3 to the 6. We can walk up and then take the 6 and walk all the way down to a 3. A little faster. Now another thing we could do is have our hands take turns doing a sort of decoration or an ornament to make them sound more separate. Perhaps something like this. So now that we have our scale going down, of course, let's try taking our scale going up and using 3s and 6s to ascend in our right hand. So one thing we can do is just go 3, 6, 3, 6, 3, 6. Now let's do something a little bit more interesting than that. One very easy way to make it more fluid is go straight from your 3 to your 6 and then to walk down to the next 3. Of course, that can be done very fast. Another way to go down with our 3 6s, instead of going 3 6 6 3, is to go 3, 6, 3, 6, but instead of using fourths, jumping a fourth, that doesn't sound too inspirational. But if we take our third and put it up an octave, then we'll have an interesting sounding fifth. Third, sixth, third. Let's decorate a little bit more. Now let's take our scale, but instead of the left hand having the scale and our right hand accompanying it, let's do the opposite. So we'll have our right hand play the scale and our left hand play some 3 6s. So let's see what we can do. That works pretty well. Let's add some passing notes and connect the dots. How about something that has a little bit more dissonance to it? So instead of going from 6 to 3, let's go from 6 and add a second that resolves to the third, like this. Now let's take our scale with the right hand, but take it down and have 6 3s in the left hand. We can do 6 3 3 6, kind of like we did in the first part, except flipped. Instead of 3 6 6 3, it's 6 3 3 6. 6 3 3 6 6. And we can connect the dots very smoothly with our left hand. And really there's endless variations in order to accompany the scale. Sort of our most basic melody. Soon we'll learn how to accompany more interesting melodies than just the scale going up and the scale going down, but that's the most basic way to start. So we've found many ways to accompany a scale, but let's take a pattern that's very, very popular in music, all styles of music, called the falling fifth. We'll start on a C, and of course if you go down a fifth from C, you go down to F. Now if you go a fifth down from F, you go to B or B flat, but we'll stay in the diatonic key of C, all the white keys. And instead of going down a fifth and then going down a fifth and then going down a fifth, we go down a fifth and then we go up a fourth. Because that's the same thing as going down a fifth 2 times in a row. You go down a fifth, up a fourth, down a fifth, up a fourth. And then you see we're back where we began. Many composers will use this idea. So to accompany the falling fifth bass pattern, we can use thirds for every note. But we don't want to perhaps jump like that. So this makes sense to do contrary motion, which means taking our third and jumping out words with our voices. It sounds much better, I think. third, 3. And we can connect the dots in a rather basic way, just going down, connecting the 5th. Now, to do our falling 5th, we started at the close 3rd, and then jumped down a 5th with the bass, and then out to a wider 3rd in the right hand. But let's try doing something else. Let's invert it. Instead of starting with the 5th and then up a 4th, let's start by going up a 4th and down a 5th. You'll notice we play the same notes whether we go down a 5th or up a 4th. And so we'll start with a wider 3rd and jump to an inner 3rd. A very similar effect, but we can do different variations on it. So with our falling 5th progression, we go from C to F, and we target the A to add a 3rd above the F. And then basically what happens is we repeat this by going to B, and it takes the motion downward. But we can also go from our C to F, and then instead of continuing to fall down, we can sort of take the progression going up by going from the C to the F, and then instead of going down to B, we actually go to D and repeat the pattern. So from C to F to D, and then up a 4th. So it's kind of the opposite as we're going. And we can do lots of things with the right hand in order to make it sound good. Going back down. Let's take a pattern in the right hand that I kind of like, and we'll take it down the falling 5th, and we'll also kind of take it up as well. So that's our little pattern. We're just going, of course, from C to F, and we can either take that down using the falling 5th, but we can also take it up by going up a 4th, down a 3rd. Falling 5th, going back up. A lot of different patterns will work both with that progression going down and the same sort of progression going up, with many, many variations.